Hello, everybody. If you've ever been interested in buying, selling, and trading Pokemon cards, this video is for you. I have some questions for those people. Maybe that's you, maybe it's not, and you're just interested in seeing the content that I've been putting out. So please follow and like the stuff as I will keep producing more. What I'm going to ask you are some very important questions about Pokemon buying and selling. So, first and foremost, do you enjoy organizing? Because if you can't handle organizing, don't do it. Because I get stuff all the time, and off camera there's a mess, like huge boxes of this, just massive, thousands of cards. I think in the last 2 weeks I probably picked up maybe 7,000 cards. So if you're not prepared to organize it, you might as well stop right there, because a lot of your value is in organizing the cards. You're going to find that you're going to make products, you're going to make better sales if you organize your stuff. And if you know where stuff is, then when people ask you about it, it's good you have it on hand, it's ready to go. So that's question number one. Next is, where do you buy Pokemon cards? Say you want to get into it. You want to get into this whole thing. How do you go about buying? There's a few different ways I see. One of the easiest ways from home is that you actually buy them online from retailers. You can spec buy them, all sorts of things. This is what I'm talking about, is like eBay, face-to-face games, Troll and Toad, these types of things. It's very hard to make any good money on it. It's hard to flip them because you're usually buying them at cost and you're expecting them to go up in value. It's a really good way for collectors to finish their sets, or if you are trying to find products that are maybe out of country or hard to find locally, this could be a really good way for you to fill out your stuff for collectors. And I've definitely purchased things on eBay just so that I could make a customer happy, that sort of stuff. So you got to do a lot of footwork online if you're going to go that route. The other is like the online local stuff. So you got Craigslist, you got Facebook Marketplace, which has been very, very big, vibrant place. And then that is a whole other ball game. And be prepared to deal with people. So as soon as you leave things like eBay to go to Facebook and Craigslist, be prepared to deal with a lot of people. And people aren't always fun to deal with. I've been either lied to. I've been told off by people. I've all sorts of things, just because they didn't like maybe the specific message that was sent, or maybe people get things in their head, and maybe their product is worth more than they think it is, or less, and you always come into these problems. So if you don't like dealing with people, maybe online local isn't for you. I know that sometimes it can be a challenge, but you got to just keep on trying. Most of these things I'm going to say, it takes a lot of turnover. You got to do it a lot of times if you're going to really take it seriously. Now, the other thing is like straight up local face-to-face trading and stuff. I did a lot more Magic cards that way. You go to tournaments and stuff, people usually bring a trade binder, and you can do well. I like to do trades of higher end stuff for a few cards, and then I can resell a few cards, and maybe make a few bucks on each card rather than just selling one card. I guess it depends on what card you're getting. And that's a good segue into my next point, which is know your prices. So if you're going to trade with anybody, you have to have solid pricing. And that means bulk buy pricing or individual card pricing. All that stuff is really important, and you have to know, and or at least know how to price something. So I have some other videos about how to price Pokemon cards. Check out my IGTV. Then after you've done all this work of getting the cards that you're ready to go, and you're ready to sell, you've made some really good deals, and you've bought a lot of cards, then you have to figure out how to resell the cards. And this part is really, really important, because you make your money when you buy the card, and you get your money when you sell the card. So a lot of people do it a lot of different ways. For me, I found it best to set up at a local market I sell at the Cloverdale Flea Market outside of Vancouver because I love dealing with individuals and I like to see the passion on people's faces when they find that card that they love. So for me, I get a lot out of it. Now, I've tried the eBay selling, I've tried the Craigslist selling, I've tried the Facebook selling, and for me, local direct person-to-person selling is my favorite. But if I had to choose a second, it would be the eBay selling. Now, that said, eBay fees should always come into your buying price. So if you're buying to resell, just make sure that you've accounted for those fees because eBay takes some pretty good fees. And also you have to charge shipping. So this is a whole thing as well. And it is possible. I have been scammed 2 or 3 times on eBay. People just don't get back to you. You ship the card and they've paid for it and then they revoke the payment and say it never showed up. I've done tracking and all this sort of stuff. And people can be, kind of, they can be scummy like that and just skip out. So if you've ever done that, please, think about it next time because you got somebody like me on the other end just trying to make some extra side hustle. And it's a letdown because I'm trying to bring value to all sorts of people. So you got to think about these things. And when you're reselling, you just have to make sure that it's comfortable for you and it works for you. So if you don't have too much time, maybe you have a full-time job and you just want to do side selling on eBay, that can work really good. But maybe read up on some of the pros and cons of that type of sales model. And if you have some other local venue, maybe you have a good Facebook page and you don't mind driving to people's houses, these sorts of things work out really well. So that said, I guess I've said a lot about this already, is just make sure you can deal with the people. Make sure that you can say hello and goodbye and you can be timely with people. People don't like to waste time. So if you're going for business, make sure that you stick to the business and go through. And if they want to talk, you talk with them. So you got to judge, and that's a lot about the sales end of things. And maybe I'll do another video on that. What else have I got on the list? Card care is really important. Obviously, sleeve and protect your cards. I have another video about that on my IGTV. And don't go too wide. Whatever your niche is, if you just want to collect Pokemon vintage cards, maybe just stick into that realm. And if you want to go for new GX cards, maybe stick in that realm. For me, I just do about those 2 things. I stick to very vintage and very new. I don't do too much in the middle because it's not my niche. And that said, I don't go too wide. I don't do the Yu-Gi-Oh cards too much. I have a very, very subtle. Only a couple % of my business is the side product. So think about what your niche is and just go with that product and keep on that product. There's lots to cover here, guys. I'm just trying to get through everything. And this is how I'm going to finish out the video. And I think this is the #1 most important thing if you're buying and selling just about anything. This is very important. Are you okay keeping it? Now I'll say that one more time. Are you okay keeping it? Because if you aren't okay keeping it, I don't think that you should buy it in the first place. I've met too many people that think they're going to flip it for a lot of money. And then what happens? Oh, you can't sell this week. Oh, you get sick. Oh, you got extra time at work and you just have to hold on to it. So you better love the product that you're buying and selling. Otherwise, you could really lose out on your money and you could lose out on yourself, because I think the best thing you can do is sell something that you're passionate about. And I've developed a passion for selling Pokemon cards and I love it. So I hope this video really helps some of those startup sellers, and I hope this was some informative information. Have a good evening.